Ryan Hale, a simple human technician, never believed his life could change inside an alien palace. He thought he was just there to repair a damaged power relay. Nothing more. The chamber was quiet, cold, and filled with soft blue light. Ryan worked with slow and careful hands, unaware that he was standing in a place no human had ever been allowed to enter. Everyone in the galaxy feared the one who ruled this palace. Empress Ilaria, the strongest and most mysterious leader of the alien empire. Some called her a living weapon. Others said she could crush a star with her mind. Ryan had only seen her face on screens, and even that had been enough to make him nervous. So when the massive steel doors behind him slid open with a deep rumble, Ryan turned around casually, then froze like a statue. She was standing there, the Empress. Her tall silver armor shined like liquid metal. Her hair floated, glowing like white fire. Her eyes were sharp and bright, the kind of eyes that could see through a person's soul. Every step she took sounded like thunder, even though she moved with soft grace. Ryan's heart hammered in his chest. He quickly bowed his head, expecting guard to appear and drag him away for standing in her path. But no guards came. No one spoke. Only silence filled the room as the Empress slowly walked toward him. Ryan swallowed hard. He tried to step back, but his legs refused to move. She stopped just one step away from him. Ryan couldn't breathe. He expected anger. He expected commands. He expected punishment. But what happened next destroyed every rule of her empire. The Empress knelt right in front of him. A queen who never bowed to anyone in her entire life lowered her head before a human technician. Ryan felt the world spin. No human had ever seen such a thing. Even her highest generals would not dare ask for it. Ryan's voice cracked. Empress, you don't have to. She lifted her head slowly. Her face was calm, but her eyes carried deep emotion. Something ancient. Something heavy. I must, she said softly. I have searched for you for many years, human. Ryan stared at her in confusion. Me? I think you made a mistake. I'm nobody. No, she replied. You are the one written in our oldest records. The one who carries the quiet flame. Ryan didn't understand. He didn't even know what the quiet flame was. He only knew his life was simple, normal, boring, not something an empress would kneel for. She reached out her hand, not as a ruler giving an order, but gently like someone asking for help. Stand with me, she said. Before Ryan could answer, every alarm in the palace suddenly began to scream. Red lights flashed across the chamber. A deep voice echoed through the speakers. Warning, enemy fleet entering the system. Their target, the human. Ryan felt a chill rush through his entire body. Why were they coming for him? And why did an empress kneel to protect him? The mystery had only begun. Alarms echoed to the palace like the roar of a giant beast. Red lights flashed across every wall. Ryan stood frozen, still tried to understand why an entire enemy fleet was coming for him. A simple human technician who didn't even know how to fire most alien weapons. Empress Ilaria rose to her feet in one graceful motion. Her eyes, once soft, now turned sharp and cold. The air around her changed, filled with a silent storm of power. Without touching him, she gently placed herself between Ryan and the entrance, as if she expected danger to break in any second. Come with me, she commanded, not in anger, but in urgency. Ryan followed her down the long metallic hallway. Every guard they passed stared with shock. None of them had ever seen their empress walk beside a human, let alone protect one. They reached a massive circular room, the war chamber. A floating map of the galaxy glowed in the center, showing dozens of enemy ships moving toward the palace. Ryan stared. Why are they coming for me? I don't even know who they are. The Empress looked at him for a long moment. Because they know the truth you do not. Ryan's stomach tightened. What truth? She pressed her hand against a panel. A hidden wall opened, revealing an ancient-looking relic made of black stone and silver veins. It pulsed like a heartbeat. This, she said, is the flame core. It reacts only to one being in the galaxy. You! Ryan shook his head. That's impossible. I'm just human. You are human, she agreed, but not only human. Before he could protest, the relic's silver veins lit up brighter. The room vibrated. The core released a soft hum, responding to Ryan's presence. Ryan stepped back in shock. Why is it doing that? Because the Empress said quietly, "You carry something inside you, something ancient, something our people call the quiet flame." Ryan felt a strange warmth rise inside his chest, as if something deep within him had heard her words and woke up. "But I don't remember anything," he whispered. "I had a normal life, a normal childhood." The Empress shook her head gently. "Your memories were changed. Someone hid your true origin, perhaps to protect you." Ryan's hand shook. "So I'm what? A weapon?" "No," she stepped closer. "A key." Before Ryan could ask more, the doors slammed open. The Imperial Council stormed inside, tall aliens in dark robes, their faces filled with fear and anger. One of them pointed at Ryan. "Empress, you cannot protect him. The enemy wants a human. Give him up, or our empire will fall." Another counselor shouted. "A human cannot be trusted with the flame core." The core pulsed again, brighter this time, as if reacting to their anger. Ryan felt dozens of eyes judging him, blaming him, fearing him. Then the Empress stepped forward and spoke with a voice that shook the room. "I will not surrender him. He is under my protection. Anyone who tries to take him will face me." The counselors went silent. Ryan realized one thing. He had just become the center of a cosmic war he never asked for. The war chamber vibrated as distant explosions echoed through the palace. The enemy fleet had begun their first strike. Ryan stood in the center of the room, still struggling to understand why everyone wanted him. Why the strange quiet flame inside him mattered so much. Empress Xyleria placed a firm hand on his shoulder. "You are not safe here. Come." She guided him through hidden corridors that only the royal family used. Guards followed behind them, whispering to each other. Some looked scared of Ryan. Others looked angry. None of them trusted a human with something powerful and unknown. They entered a large training hall. Weapons floated on racks. Holograms of past battles flickered on the walls. At the far end stood the Empress's personal elite guard, known across the Empire as the Star Blades. Every warrior in the room froze when they saw Ryan. One of them, a tall alien with silver skin, growled, "Empress, this human is the reason the enemy attacks us. Why protect him?" Another added, "If the prophecy is true, he is dangerous." The Empress lifted her hand, silencing them instantly. "He must learn to control what is inside him," she said, "and you will help him." The guards exchanged worried looks, but no one dared argue. Ryan raised his hands nervously. "I don't even know how to fight your way. I'm not a soldier. I'm a technician." "Not anymore," Xyleria said. "You are something greater, and your enemy already knows that." She motioned to the training circle. "Step inside." Ryan obeyed, heart pounding. A holographic opponent appeared, a simple training drone. Nothing dangerous, just enough to test reaction time. "Focus," the Empress instructed. "Listen to your body. Listen to the flame." Ryan had no idea how to listen to something he couldn't feel. But when the drone moved suddenly and fired a bolt of blue light, something strange happened. Ryan dodged. Not slowly, not clumsily, but fast. Too fast for a normal human. Gasps filled the room. The drone fired again. Ryan moved before the shot even left the barrel. As if he sensed it. As if he heard it coming. What was that?" Ryan breathed. The Empress watched him with calm pride. "Your instincts are waking." The drone charged forward. Ryan raised his hands by reflex. Something burst from his palms, a faint ripple like heat on metal. It pushed the drone back and slammed it into the wall. Everyone stared. The hall went silent. Even Ryan stared at his hands. "How did I do that?" One of the elite guards whispered, "It's true. The flame lives in him." But not everyone was impressed. A council messenger entered urgently. "Empress, the council demands a human be surrendered to the enemy. They believe it is the only way to stop the attack." Ryan felt a cold wave wash over him. He wasn't just hunted by enemies now. The entire empire was turning against him. But the Empress stepped forward, placing herself between Ryan and the guards again. "No one touches him," she said. He stays with me. Outside, another explosion shook the palace. War was coming fast. And Ryan was no longer a simple human. He was the only chance the Empire had. The palace shook again as another explosion thundered through the crystal walls. The elite guards rushed out to defend the corridors, leaving Ryan and Empress Ilaria alone in the training hall. Ryan's heart pounded so hard he could barely hear his own breath. He looked at his hands again, the same hands that had launched a strange energy wave just minutes earlier. "This can't be real," he whispered. "I'm human. Humans don't do things like this." The Empress stepped closer, her voice calm but firm. "Your power is real, and the enemy will not stop until they take you." Before Ryan could respond, the lights flickered and a giant holographic screen activated on its own. A tall, dark figure appeared, the enemy leader. His face was hidden behind a mask shaped like a cracked star, and his voice was deep, echoing with strange distortion. "Human," the figure said, "do you hear me?" Ryan froze. The voice felt familiar, like something from a dream or a memory he wasn't supposed to have. The Empress stepped forward. "You have no right to address him." The masked figure ignored her completely. "You were made for us," he said. "You were born in our labs, shaped by our hands. You are ours. Return to us, and the palace will live another day." Ryan stepped back, shock draining the color from his face. "Born in your labs? That's not true. I had a childhood. I had parents." The masked figure laughed, cold and slow. "You had fake memories, planted memories. Your human life was a cage to hide what you really are." Ryan felt dizzy. The Empress touched his arm gently, grounding him. "Do not believe him," she said. "They twist truth into fear." But the masked enemy continued. "You carry the quiet flame, but you belong to us. Your power was created to serve our empire, not theirs." Ryan's chest tightened. Images flashed in his mind. Dark rooms, white lights, shadows speaking words he couldn't understand. Were they memories or tricks? The Empress raised her voice. "You will not take him." The masked figure turned to her. "You stole him from us, and now your empire will burn for it." Then the hologram vanished. Silence filled the hall, heavy and cold. Ryan sank to the floor, running a shaking hand through his hair. "Is it true? Was everything in my life fake? Was I really made?" The Empress lowered herself slowly and sat beside him. Her armor touched the ground softly. Then, something no one in the galaxy would believe. She knelt again, just as she had in part one. "Ryan," she said, her voice filled with warmth no one knew she had. "You are not a weapon. You are not property. You are a person. You choose who you are." Ryan looked at her, emotion rising in his chest. "But what if I'm dangerous?" Her eyes softened. "Then I will stand with you. Always." Before either of them could say more, another alarm screamed through the hall. Enemy soldiers have breached the lower levels. They are searching for the human. Zylaria rose instantly, her expression turning fierce. "They will not take you," she said. "Not while I live." Ryan stood beside her, fear mixing with something new, anger. If the enemy wanted him, he would no longer run. Enemy soldiers stormed deeper into the palace. Their heavy boots echoed like thunder through every hall. Ryan could hear distant shouts, metal clashing against metal, and the sharp cry of energy blades cutting through armor. The war for him had begun. Empress Ilaria led him through another hidden passage. Her movements were fast but controlled, every step filled with purpose. Ryan followed close behind, his heart racing, but something inside him felt different now. Less fear, more strength, as if the quiet flame was no longer sleeping. They entered a wide balcony overlooking the battlefield far below. The sky burned red from enemy blasts. Giant ships hovered above the palace, unleashing smaller attack crafts that rained fire on the city. Ryan stared in horror. All of this is because of me? No, the Empress said firmly. This is because of them. They fear what you may become. Ryan clenched his fists. I didn't choose any of this. She turned toward him slowly. Then choose now. He looked at her, confused but listening. You can run, she continued, and they will destroy everything trying to capture you. Or, she stepped closer, her voice lowering. You can stand. You can fight. You can choose who you are. Ryan breathed deeply, feeling the weight of her words. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a king. He didn't even know what his true origin was. But something inside him, something ancient, pushed forward. I choose to stand, he said quietly. Then louder, stronger. I won't run anymore. The Empress nodded once, proud, fierce. Suddenly, 3 enemy soldiers burst onto the balcony, weapons glowing. Ryan reacted without thinking. A pulse of white energy exploded from his chest, forming a shimmering shield around him and Xylaria. The blast hit the shield and dissolved like sparks in water. Ryan stared at the glowing barrier around his hands. I did that. Yes, the Empress said. Your flame is waking. The enemy soldiers charged again. Ryan raised his hands, and the shield grew brighter. This time, the energy rippled outward, knocking the attackers off their feet and sending them flying into the courtyard below. The Empress watched him with awe. Your power is not destruction, she whispered. It is protection. More enemies arrived. The sky darkened as a massive beam cannon on an enemy ship powered up, aimed directly at the balcony. Xylaria grabbed Ryan's arm. We must move. But there was no time. The weapon fired. A giant blast of red energy surged toward them like a burning river. Ryan stepped in front of the Empress. He didn't know why. He didn't know how. He just knew he couldn't let her die. He raised both hands. The quiet flame roared awake. A massive white shield erupted, blocking the blast. The impact shook the entire palace. Ryan screamed as the energy pushed him back, overwhelming, crushing, burning. But he held. The beam finally faded, leaving smoke and silence. The Empress ran to him as he collapsed to one knee, breathless and shaking. Ryan, are you hurt? He looked up at her with weak but determined eyes. I told you, he said. I'm done running. Below them, soldiers from both sides stared in shock. A single human had just blocked a planet killer beam. The war had changed. He was no longer a target. He was a threat. The balcony was filled with smoke, broken stone, and the echo of the blast Ryan had just stopped. The palace trembled under the weight of battle. Down below, soldiers, both loyalists and enemies, stared upward in stunned silence. A human had survived a weapon meant to vaporize entire fortresses. Empress Xylaria knelt beside Ryan as he struggled to breathe. His hands still glowed faintly, like dying embers. She touched his shoulder gently. You saved my life, she whispered, her voice breaking the cold mask she always wore. Ryan gave a weak smile. Guess I'm not just a technician anymore. Before she could answer, another alarm blared. This time deeper, louder, more urgent. Warning. Enemy Supreme Commander approaching the throne level. The masked leader, the one who claimed Ryan belonged to them, was coming. Xylaria helped Ryan stand, her arm strong around his back. Stay behind me. But Ryan shook his head. No, I'm done hiding. The Empress stared at him for a moment. There was something new in her eyes. Respect. And something softer, something rare for someone who ruled an empire. They moved through the palace, stepping over fallen enemies and broken walls. Flames and shadows danced around them. At the throne chamber doors, they found dozens of guards defeated, the great metal doors ripped apart by unnatural force. Inside stood the masked enemy leader. He turned slowly toward Ryan and spread his arms. At last, he said, my creation returns. Ryan felt anger burn in his chest. I don't belong to you. You carry our power, the leader replied. You were designed for obedience. Submit, and your Empress may live. Xylaria stepped forward, drawing her blade. He will never kneel to you. The leader raised a hand. Dark energy surged, forming a spear aimed at her heart. Ryan's emotions snapped. The quiet flame erupted. A brilliant white aura exploded from his body, filling the room with blinding light. The masked leader stumbled back, shielding his eyes. Ryan stepped forward, every breath heavy but strong. His voice carried through the hall. I choose who I am, not you. not your empire, not your lies. The enemy leader roared and hurled the dark spear. Ryan raised his hand. The spear shattered into dust before touching him. The leader charged with a scream of rage, and Ryan met him head-on. Light and darkness collided, shaking the palace foundation. Guards outside fell to their knees as the shock waves passed through stone and air. With one final burst of strength, Ryan unleashed everything inside him. The quiet flame surged like a rising star, engulfing the enemy leader in a wave of pure white light. When the flare faded, the masked leader was gone. Nothing remained. Silence filled the throne room, deep and absolute. Ryan collapsed to the floor, the last of his strength fading. The Empress rushed to him, lifting him gently into her arms. Her voice trembled, not with fear, but with emotion no one had ever heard from her. "Ryan, stay with me." His eyes opened slowly. "Did we win?" She nodded. "Yes, because of you." She carried him out of the throne chamber. When they stepped onto the balcony, the entire empire, soldiers, citizens, nobles, looked up in awe. Standing tall, the Empress declared, "This human is not our weapon, not our prisoner, not our servant. He is my equal, protector of the empire." The crowd bowed. Ryan looked at her, confused. "Equal?" She knelt beside him, again, for the third time, this time with no fear, no prophecy, no duty, only sincerity. "Yes," she whispered, "because you saved me." Ryan breathed out slowly. "Then I guess I'm home." The war ended. A new legend was born. And somewhere in the stars, the quiet flame burned brighter than ever.